Well, hello everyone. I've traveled to Summerville, South Carolina, to the headquarters of Knights Companies. Summerville is just a bit northwest of historic Charleston. This morning, I'm going to be visiting with Pete Knight, and he'll be explaining, amongst other things, why a company headquartered in South Carolina is a member of the Georgia Ready Mix Concrete Association. Pete, it's so good to be with you, my friend, here in South Carolina on your home turf. Please tell our listeners a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Bill. It was an honor to be selected to share a little bit about myself with you guys. Most don't know I was born in Charleston and spent my whole life here in Summerville. Spent most of my high school years working in the family business, but also done a little bit of auto racing at the same time as a young guy, and still have a love and passion for that sport. Have two kids. My oldest is 18. She's a senior in high school. My youngest is 14. She's a freshman. Oldest is soon to be off to Ole Miss, so we're excited about that, and even the Gamecock fans that we are.
So last night we had a really lovely dinner last night. Soft shell crab has just come into season, and so we were fortunate to be able to enjoy some good soft shell crab, and we got to do a little warm up last night, and I got to hear a little bit about Knights Companies and the history of Knights. So Pete, just go back to the beginning and give us, tell us about how this incredible operation came to be.
My father started the company in 1969 in the septic tank business. At that time, it was a two-man operation, and he was pumping tanks and doing repairs. That led over into the early 80s, and he started precasting septic tanks, buying concrete from local producers. We did that from the early 80s through the early part of 95. And at that time, dealing with issues of delayed deliveries and hot concrete and coming up short, dealing with those frustrations day in and day out. He was pouring a large 20 yards a day at that time, and felt like getting in the ready mix business to self-supply was the next best thing for him to do. So we'd done that. He bought a plant from Robert Eister with Stevens, and we started standing that plant up late 94 into 95. And oddly enough, he was getting the feedback from his current provider at the time, Bud, you're not going to be able to get any cement when you go to try to fire this plant up. And he was a pretty good planner and always really thought things out. We felt like we had went about it the right way, or he did, in getting a new plant and a new truck and identifying it how to do it the right way. And he thought if maybe somebody would have a need, whether it's the town of Summerville or a home builder here in town that would have a need to get a few yards a day, that would just be bonus on top of what he was doing for himself. So sometime around February, March of 1995, gentleman pulled in the yard, Bob Thompson with Giant Cement. Dad thought when he pulled in with that LTD that he was some kind of a code enforcement or inspector, yet looking for some kind of a permit that maybe he didn't have at that time. But Bob come in, introduced himself, and at that time Giant Cement's headquarters was located in Summerville. Bob only lived about a mile from that original plant site. None of that knows to Dad at that time, but they struck up conversation and put together a deal. And Bob says, I understand you're getting in the ready mix business, and we want to be your provider of cement. And not long after that, we took off with the one truck and self-supplying and doing other things. That quickly led over the next handful of years up through 1999 to have 8 or 9 trucks. And some unfortunate circumstances took place in his life personally that changed my course as I was working in the business before school and after school and during the summers, and missing all those fun things that most high schoolers get to do. But not that I wanted or didn't want to do the things that I was doing because I really enjoyed it. I was yet always intrigued by what he accomplished in his professional career, and always had a drive to be able to replicate that and maybe even do bigger and better things with it. So as things changed in my senior year of high school for him, he had some health issues that led to some surgery, and really took him back from the day-to-day operations of the business late 98. Again, I was going to school from about 8:30 to 11 o'clock, going in and opening a plant before that and coming back and closing out. And small operation, you got to be able to do a little bit of everything. So whether that was running a front-end loader, driving a yard truck, batching, we were doing all manual batch at that time. Got our first Eagle Junior, I think, in late 99. So everything was manual. You had to be hands-on. You had to wear many hats, as most folks do in this business. But we dealt with the situation that was at hand. Again, it changed my course, but it was everything worked out the way it was meant to be. And we graduate on a Saturday in June of 1999 and go to work full-time on Monday morning and take off from there. We had a second plant in late 99. We had in Walterboro, had a third plant in North Charleston in the middle part of 2002. And continue to grow the fleet and add sales personnel, and yet really grow the team, some of which have been there since day one in 95. Some had worked in the septic business and moved over into the ready mix portion. So really started to grow a team that allowed us to continue to grow. And we saw significant growth through the 2007 year, and then we get faced with the Great Recession. And learned a lot from the 95 through the 2007, but I would have to say I learned more from the 2007 through the 2012 year than I did over any period. But we come out of the recession in 2012. We fortunate to land an opportunity to do some large precast structures at Boeing when they announced their movement into Charleston. And we were able to bring some people back to work that had been laid off through that period. And really, we sat around the table after we won the job and said, what are we going to do after this job is done? And we're going to be back to where we were in 2011 again. But fortunately, it was just the beginning of things really turning around for the precast division as well as the company as a whole. And we march out of that in 2012 and start to really turn the corner, continuing to grow fleet and look at opportunities to expand the business. We landed an opportunity in Richmond Hill, Georgia for a precast acquisition in late 2015. It was a great opportunity. It was a market we had been selling products in and delivering from the home office in Somerville here, and we made the move, acquired it late December, and from that point we really had interest in being in the ready mix business there. We had a need for it. We were pouring 20-30 yards a day in the plant at that time. We had 2 tenants that we acquired with the acquisition, so we had visions of getting in the ready mix business there. At that time, the market had a lot of players. It wasn't just the right time and space for us to make that move on the ready mix front, so we pivoted and done an acquisition in Columbia, South Carolina in December of 2016. That time it was a 2-plant operation, Palmetto Builders Concrete, a company that Andy Stevenson and some friends had started in 2006, and we felt like it was a good move for us as we wanted to grow the brand and grow footprint. So we completed the acquisition and been able to add some other locations organically in the years following that. Had the opportunity to add a 3rd, 4th, and a 5th in the coming years. Grew that market considerably, grew the team, and then we had an opportunity to come back to Savannah and lower South Carolina in the Low Country and do an acquisition and really a greenfield startup in the Georgia market at the same time. So In late 2020, we opened a plant up at our precast location for ready-mix third-party sales, started self-supplying that precast operation at the same time, opened a second plant up in Savannah in January of 21. In July of 21, we closed on the the Low Country Concrete opportunities in Beaufort and Hardeeville. So we put those two business units together, and now we have four combined there, what we consider the South. Got a great team of people that come over from the Low Country acquisition, along with folks that joined the team prior to the acquisition, and sitting at 14 plants, stationary plants today, 5 portables. Have done a lot of portable work in the state of Georgia, a lot of portable work in the state of South Carolina, running over 100 mixers on the road every day with about 25 portables. Our precast business has continued to grow. We're today pouring about 50, 60 yards of concrete of precast out of our Richmond Hill location and 100, 110 out of our Somerville plant. Both have very good teams in place, and we're continuing to thrive on the precast side as well as we are the ready-mix side. But none of that wouldn't be possible without, number one, my father, old man, having the vision and the thoughts to start his own business and grow that into the precast portion, into the ready mix to self-supply, and the people that were a part of that team and the people that are here today. And that's our biggest asset is the people. And again, it wouldn't be possible without what each and every one of them do every day.
Pete, that is an incredible story, and it's so obvious to me today and last night as we got to visit the passion that you have for the industry and also the passion you have for developing people. It's so obvious, and you're very humble about that, and I really admire that in you. If you don't mind, just before we move any further, could you just recap the Georgia, your presence in Georgia? Again, you covered so much territory. My head's spinning with all the growth and everything you've done in precast and ready mix. And so just take just a moment and recap the Georgia operations, where you are and kind of the size.
Yes, sir. The first plant was our Richmond Hill ready mix location supporting our precast plant. That's a 5-truck operation today. We supplement trucks from other plants. The Savannah plant is our main plant there. I think we have 15 trucks at that location today. So we have 20 trucks in the state of Georgia, 20 ready-mix trucks. It's been a growing market from where we started with 2 greenfield locations in theory, combined with the Hardeeville and Beaufort plants just across the state line. Holistically, we're running about 35 trucks between those 4 locations today.
And Pete, you mentioned portables. Have you done much portable work in Georgia? Do you have any today? And could you say a little bit about that?
We've had the opportunity. We've done our first portable in Knight's history in Ellabelle, Georgia, just outside of Savannah. That was a 2021 project. From there, we have completed 3 behind that for a total of 4. We do not have one currently, but there's a lot of opportunities in play, and we hope to be standing one up soon.
Again, as I said earlier, it's so obvious when I'm around you that you really get a lot of pleasure out of this business and running the business and growing the business. What do you enjoy most about being an owner of a ready-mix company and a concrete products company? What are some of the enjoyable aspects? A lot of challenges, we know, but tell us a little bit about what gives you the pleasure of it.
As we all know, it's a tough industry. It's a tough business. It's very demanding of time. It's not for everyone, that's for sure. And I tell folks all the time, what few interviews I sit in today, just that. It's a business that's not for everybody, but it's one that I couldn't see myself do anything any different. Come up in the business, one of the founding values of Knights as a whole was people, and it's still our number one core value today. And I view that from not just the people that work for Knights, but the people that work with and around Knights. We're very active in the communities that we have operations in. I feel like I have relationships with our customers and with our vendors just as close as the ones that we have as employees. And I think that piece in itself, we're a people business, yet this is still a very personable industry. I don't know of another industry that's any more personal than this. And I think that's the biggest enjoyment that I have, is being able to connect with these people day in and day out and know more about them than just the transaction of a vendor-producer relationship or employee-employer relationship. It's deeper than that for me.
Well, and that's, again, it's obvious. You enjoy people, and this is a people business. You could argue that all businesses are people business, but it certainly, as I engage with our members around the state, it's just across the aggregates and cement and admixtures and the fleet and plant, and there's just a tremendous camaraderie, and we just naturally take pleasure in that, and we solve problems together. We face difficulties together, and like you said, it's not for everybody, but if you enjoy the challenges, it sure is. It can be a lot of fun. I think I know the answer to my next question, but I want to hear you talk about it, and that is, who has had just great influence on you in your career, in your life, and in business. Who would you say, and how did they influence you?
As we discussed a little bit over dinner last night, I think you quickly identified that the one individual that's had the biggest impact on myself and my professional career and personal has been my father. He was a guy that had a vision, had a job, and a good job at an early age, but had the vision to take a chance on doing something for himself. And when he started the business, we still talk about that day when he did in 1969. He had $80 to his name, and he'll tell you that was in his piggy bank, that was in his pocket, that was at the bank, that was everything that he had. But he knew that he was going to make it successful. And I look back at, not only is he my dad, he's my mentor, he's my best friend, he's my hero. And every day we still have a daily conversation. And yeah, we're sitting at north of 400 employees, and it's probably way bigger than he ever envisioned this place to be. And we are in 2024, and things are a whole lot different than they were in 1969. But his wisdom is still welcoming to me day in and day out. We still have a lot of conversations about challenges and things that we're faced with, and again, they're a lot different than what he was faced with during his time. But no doubt, hands down, I've been fortunate to have worked around a lot of people within the organization and outside of the organization that have made huge impacts on me, but nobody could take that spot from him.
Pete, what a gift to have that relationship with your father. And as you say, you've got the relationship from a business standpoint, and having a business counselor and advisor, a consultant right here with you, that and having that friendship with your father is an incredible gift, an incredible blessing, and I know it delights both of you. It goes without saying, this business is changing all the time. A lot of new things happening with cement and the new cement, the pozzolans, and just changes in the workforce, challenges on every front. I'd enjoy hearing a little bit from you about, is today, and kind of looking ahead, and what, not things necessarily that keep you up at night. That's often the question. What is it that keeps you up at night? You don't strike me as somebody that's going to be up all night. You're pretty, I wouldn't say laid back, but you take charge of situations and you face them. But the things that do concern you as you own a business and run a business, what are those things in Ready Mix in particular that you would say, these are my big challenges that I'm tackling each day and as I look ahead?
The workforce development piece is probably my biggest concern, along with sustainability and the challenges that you're faced with the ever-changing products and materials that we're faced with today. But the workforce development is something that has been a big concern of mine for some time, and I will say that we're sitting in a better place today than we were 2 years ago, and that's a lot around our team putting our heads together and looking at the things that we can be different in relation to others, and we can do in our industry, which is tough. When my father started this company in the ready mix space, we were a 6-day work week business. That little change that we made in the last 18 months, we feel like it's been a big change for the work-life balance and really trying to focus on a 5-day work week. And that's around the work-life balance of your employees. That's around material availability. A lot of reasons behind that, but I think that has been a big needle mover. As we sit here today, we're putting more emphasis on hiring better, training better, really giving these employees a culture in a company that they want to be a part of, not just one of. And I think that has been a huge advantage for us in moving the needle in the last 12 to 18 months in that space. It still is a challenge. I think it will remain a challenge, but I think overall we as a team have come together and really done some great things to change the outcome there.
Folks, and I don't know if you heard the barking, that's one of Pete's Boykins that's here at the office. One of the fringe benefits of owning your own business, you can bring your dog or dogs to your office. And just a quick story, when I was with Gus Pursley a while back, he didn't have 1 or 2 dogs. He had a whole pack of dogs at the office, and they joined in the interview process. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, Pete, I appreciate your words about the workforce, and I'm excited that you're making progress on that 5-day work week, because we've had those discussions in our workforce development committee. I think everyone would love to be able to operate only 5 days a week, and they strive for that, and they're getting closer to it because people want that work-life balance, and I applaud you for that. Changing gears just a little bit, I've been back 2 years now, and since I've come back, I've gotten to know you. I've gotten to know some of your people, and of course, Hugh Pappy is who works with you in sales. Is on our board. Hugh joined our board soon after I came back, and we've really enjoyed having Hugh, his energy and his enthusiasm and his passion for the industry, and we've enjoyed your involvement and your support. We really appreciate it. And if you could take a few minutes and tell us what you see are the benefits of being a member of the Georgia Ready Mix Concrete Association. What's the value to someone like yourself? And it's not free. You write us a check every year for dues. What do you get for that? What's the return for you?
Bill, I'll first say that I think the GRMCA has a lot to be proud of as an association. Having been a member of CRMCA for some years, and we have a great association as well in the Carolinas. I've been super impressed with GRMCA as a whole, the leadership team there, the staff, the members. When you look at us being a smaller, mid-sized ready-mix producer, and you look at other members in the association and the collaboration that all have and the commitment to work on issues together, I think it's unbelievable, really, what's taking place there, where the association's at, where it's headed, the teamwork, and that's what it takes in these kind of associations to be successful, whether it's tackling issues at the State House, whether it's working on workforce development and safety and yet sustainability and all of the things that we as producers are faced with every day. We're a lot stronger as a association, as a team, than we are individually. And I think it's when you look at it from the outside, there are a lot of large corporations, there are a lot of small corporations, and a lot of folks all in between. But when you see the group come together, whether it be the annual meeting or Hugh telling me about some of the committee feedback and his time on the board, I think it's incredible value that we as a producer see in the association, and know that having been in associations like this in years past, we haven't done the best job of being involved. And I think it's very important for not only us as a producer member, but for the association to be involved, be a part of, have a voice, be able to share the good, the bad, and the ugly with others and what they've experienced. And then when you can have the opportunity to connect with our vendor partners and the relationships, whether it's the cement supply or the stone supply, admix, the truck piece, the plant piece, all of which is very important to our success, the industry success, the successes in the state of Georgia. I feel like we're in a very good spot with the association, and the future is very bright.
Pete, thank you for those words. That's really helpful to me. We always like to hear the feedback so that we can adjust our team in terms of how we bring value. Because one thing I'll say for our team, Emily and Michaela and myself, I mean, we really, really have a passion for the industry, and we have a passion to serve our members. And in order to do that, we need to hear from you and know what is it that we can do to support you and help you be safe, compliant, and prosperous, which is that's our mission statement. Got one final question. I always like to ask this question, and that is just to hear from you a little bit. You've been involved in some incredible growth in this in Georgia and South Carolina, and running this business and leading these employees. And I would just enjoy hearing, the advice that you would give to young leaders, young people, new people coming into not only your company, but just in general, entering the ready-mix industry. What advice would you give from all these years that you've been at it, and what advice?
I think the single biggest thing that sticks out to me, that I feel like, having been in this business 25 years, you live and you learn, and you have mentors that help along the way, and you really sit back and look at the things that you've done well and the things maybe that you didn't do so well. And in the last 5 years, I would say that being honest with self-awareness, and being able to have the conversation with the man in the mirror and know that we all can be better tomorrow than we were today. We all have seasons, we all have periods where we're probably not our best. But when you can be honest with self and be able to reflect on when you had those good days and when you had those bad days, and being able to identify how you can be different, I think that's the single biggest thing that it took me a long time to get to, but it's greatly important in really growing within yourself and allowing others to grow, being able to give feedback, and just as important, receive the feedback. So just being honest with self.
Well, personally, I completely agree with you, Pete. That's very, very good advice, and it's funny, like you say, it can take a lot of years and a lot of suffering to be humbled and to be able to look in the mirror, as you say, look at that man or woman in the mirror and look honestly and be open to counsel and just to be humble. So I really appreciate that, and I appreciate you taking time out of your schedule last night to visit and have a good meal, and to take time this morning with us and to be able to share your story, your dad's story. So much to learn from it, and we're just happy for your prosperity. We wish you safety, good safety and compliance and prosperity, and as we go forward in this year. And my only request, Pete, is next time I come here, I'm looking for sunshine. It's been it's been a little chilly and a little rainy on this trip, but I won't hold you responsible for that. But no, all kidding aside, it's been a great trip, and I really do appreciate it.
Thank you for spending the time with us and spending a little time here with Knights and learning more about us. I appreciate the opportunity to do that. Again, I'm humbled that you would ask to sit down with me and hear a little bit more about it. So again, thank you for everything that you're doing with the team, Emily, Michaela, and the association. I think we're doing great things and got great things ahead of us as well.